King, legendary, prolific composer, performer, and author, and political activist. I have her vinyl. She's here to speak to us today because she is a supporter, obviously, for getting the president reelected. I'm Paula Cannon. I'm a neighborhood team leader in the 2nd Ward for the city of Chicago. And without further ado, thank you so much for joining us, Carol King. I don't know what to do with this. Rock and roll! When I came in, I heard you all doing something, but can you do it for me again if I say, fire it up? That's what I'm talking about! Wow, that is awesome. So I am, this is not my first time working on a campaign. I've worked on other Democratic presidential campaigns, senatorial campaigns, whatever have you. I'm actually working on one in Idaho that is a congressional campaign. Idaho has 2 districts. I live in Idaho. I've lived there for 30 years, more than 30 years. And in my district, there's a Republican who's been in there for quite a while, Mike Simpson. Running against him is a state legislator. Her name is Nicole Lefevre. She's openly gay, has been. This is going to be really an interesting race, may I say, in my rural county in Idaho. But, we do this because we believe in our candidate. We know. This is not ideology. We're working for a team headed by Obama, of course Biden, all the Democrats, running on the ticket. But Obama, Biden in particular, are people who we know care about people, who care about making people's lives better. They're not thinking about the vested interests and, I don't know. And Barack Obama took on Wall Street, and Wall Street is not happy. So how do we deal with it? You are how we deal with it. You and every single individual that you speak to. And it is individual by individual. Okay, we're a group here, so as a group, individuals are stronger. You understand that the mission is to make the group bigger and stronger. One person at a time. It starts with you. I have gone out and in rural areas because I live in one. I live in a rural area where I'm greatly outnumbered as a Democrat. And I like to go into those areas because really everybody is just people. And for example, one of the things that I say to my neighbors who tend to vote Republican because that's what they do, is like, I say, okay, so you've been, you get this rhetoric, cut spending, the government is bad. Cut taxes for the wealthy because that's what we need to do for the job creators. And I like to say to them, how's that working for you? If you're going out to any areas that are more Republicans, or if you meet people who identify as Republicans or independents, that's kind of the one soundbite message. How's it working for you? And then make sure, because President Obama is so modest, he doesn't get out there and say, well, I've done this and I've done that. He's not comfortable doing that. He needs us to say those things to people and point it out in your own words. There's always the list, but tell about your experiences. I have an experience to tell that's a personal thing for me. Is a friend of mine who identified as a Republican, was her house. She was going to lose her house. And Obama's loan modification program saved her house and allowed her and her daughter to stay in it. That woman is voting for Obama this time. To people from your own life. Just be you. Don't be shy about talking to people. Always be respectful when you speak to people. Always be respectful. You can criticize Mitt Romney's policies, and that's what we're here to criticize because they're basically wrong. They're wrong for everybody except the extremely wealthy who don't need policies like that. You know, they want policies like that. They're not good for us. They're not even good for them because we don't have money to spend to buy their stuff.
There you go. Right.
So again, always be respectful. I say to people, I say this, it comes out like a joke, but it's really true. I understand why you might identify as a Republican. It used to be a better party. But I ask people, and this is, there's several ways we're talking about, but I ask people to set aside the label. Think as a human being. I'm speaking to you person to person. And I say, how is it working for you? What are your concerns? Do some listening. And when they have a, well, I have a thought about that, would you like to hear it? In other words, do the listening, say, I hear you. Be respectful always when somebody disagrees. I mean, there is a line, if somebody is abusive, say thank you and leave.
Yeah.
And I know you get that, I know that. And you're never gonna, there's no point. Don't put yourself in that situation. I also want to talk about, if you talk to people who identify themselves as, liberal, progressive, very to the left, and they're disheartened. They think perhaps that Obama hasn't done enough, fast enough, in the direction in which they want to go, which, I think we all want us to go further than we probably have. I think the message for those people is you cannot sit this out. Not only must you vote for the good of our country and the values we share, but you must remember in 2000, that was the year in which, if you believe we lost,
Right.
We lost by 527 votes. And if one of those, point out to your friends and neighbors who are sort of saying, I'm not even going to bother. They're all messed up, or whatever. They can't. Just tell, you cannot sit this one out. Otherwise, you will be one of those people. And if you are one of those 527 people, it's on you. You've got to get out. And also point out how Obama is moving us there. I like to give the analogy of, I could go on for a while, so if you all are getting tired, in Idaho in 1983, shortly after I moved to where I live now, there was a big earthquake, huge. And if it had happened in a city, there would have been incredible amounts of loss of life. Unfortunately, two people died in it. But okay, and there's this place where the earth opens up. It's a big hole. 2008, okay? Big hole opened up at Janama. Actually, yes. I depend upon earthquakes for my income. Every time we have one, there's a radio play, right? No. It's okay. Edit that out, please. Okay, we had an earthquake, and if you're walking along in a field and suddenly there's an earthquake and you find yourself in a deep hole, you're in this big hole where the earth just opened up. And here comes President Obama and his team with a ladder, a great big long ladder. He's got this ladder, it's very heavy to carry, and he's trying to get it over there to you, and people are trying to stop him. They're tugging on him, they're pulling him, they're pulling the ladder in another direction. They're throwing dirt down the hole at you, waiting down there, to try to get help. They're throwing dirt on Obama. That's the analogy I draw. And there is, folks, you know this, there is a ladder. He's done so much already. He's trying, what he did yesterday, how great was that? He and Joe Biden, okay, look, Joe Biden, with a gay lesbian. Equality, marriage equality. It's like these things are a no-brainer. What he's done with the loan modification plan, what he's done for education, what he's going out front. And when he did the thing with, making contraception available to everybody, at first I was like, you're taking on the Catholic Church. But he had thought it through, and he had a plan to say, okay, we don't have to do it that way. And he just keeps going out there, step by step. these are the things you need to point out to people because they're not hearing it from Obama. They need to hear it from each and every one of you. And last thing, the element of persuading people, it's still in the mix. You know, I hear the media and the polls, they all say, oh, well, most people have made up their minds. That's probably true. But if you can talk to someone one-to-one, do what I said, listening, and get them out. There's going to be a get out the vote effort on the occasion when we do that. Get involved in it, and if you can, get people to come and help. It means the world to them. And I hope you can help them understand that. Thank you for being here.
Faced with a deep recession, President Obama moved quickly to help our economy recover. There's more work to do, but you might be surprised to hear the progress we've made. 23 straight months of job growth, nearly 3.7 million jobs added. Help us spread the word.